so that's how we get into it. So we start out, we have the same type of riff off all these different power chords. We're gonna hit those 9s twice, pull them off. So the 7s. And then we're gonna do these 9s, go up to the 11, and slide them back. So you got kind of slide into that E from the D down here. So the exact same thing, just on the bigger strings there. So. So it was 2 times off the E, 2 times off this B power chord, and then we're gonna jump up to the F sharp. So we got. And then at the end, we're gonna hit a D note there. So we went up to the F sharp like this, up to those 13s and back. Then we're gonna hit those 11s, kind of slide down, hit a D note here, and then we have our chorus riff. So that's 0, 1, 2, 2 on the A string. And here we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 on the G. So 0, 1, 2, 2 on the A, and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the D. And this has got that swing type of feel to it, so it's dum da dum da dum dum. So. So we do 3 full times, and then the 4th time we're gonna go. So that was G power chord, 3 and 5, to E power chord, open and 2. So, and then the chorus. And then we'll do it all again. Then this time, we're gonna have a D power chord, open 2, 3, starting on the D string, to the A power chord, open 2, 2, at the end of that. So that last one. And then we're into a verse. We got the E again. We got. B. Okay, so when you're in a verse, it's going to go from the E to the B twice. And then we're back to the E. And then we jump up to that F sharp. D note again, and we got this other riff. G to E. G to E, D to A. Okay? Now at that point, we just have another verse and another chorus. So let's try to play this along together. I'll do it a little slower. So 2, 3, 4. Now wait till the very last second, like the last 16th note to pop in that. So it's 3, 4. Okay, and let's try the chorus riff, nice and slow. 2, 3, 4. G to E. Now after that set, finishing that riff, we got the G to E, D to A. We got okay, so let's take a look at that. That's a F sharp power chord, and it's going into the 6th chord here. So it's just 2 of each. So it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And then you're gonna go to that 4 and 6, that A flat power chord or G sharp power chord. So we got 3, 4. 4, then we're into 5. Back to the 4. 4, 5. 4. So this last one's gonna go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Back to a D power chord. You could do it over here, wherever you want. So, okay, once we hit that D, we're back into a verse. Yeah, that's kind of a shorter verse. So that one did the E twice, did the B twice, did the E, and then it went up to the F sharp. So let's go through that one more time. 2, 3, 4. G to E. G to E, D to A. And you're just going to repeat that. And it just ends with stabba-dabba-dee down by just a little scatting and stuff. It kind of fades out at that point. Okay, so that's like the first half of the intro. So let's take a look at this chord here. So this is like a F minor chord. We don't have to do the F bass, but we kind of need these fingerings for it because we got to go to these other shapes that are coming up. To reach all that, we're going to kind of have this ring finger on the G string, 5th fret. Then the pinky is going to get the 6th fret of the B string, 2nd string. Middle finger gets the 4th fret of the smallest string here. So we have a little chord. We're going to do the 6 and the 4 on the bottom 2 strings, and then we're going to go to that 5. So we come in with 2 sets of that. And here we brought in the little 3 with the 4, making like a C minor chord there. And then we flip those 2 around, so it's 4 on the bottom and 3 on the 2nd string. And then we take those 2 down 1. So that's a bit of a stretch right there. So the whole beginning of that was flip it, down 1. Then it starts the same. We're going to take the pinky and get the 2 6s, so it's 6s to 5. And then we're coming up here to 6 and 8 with that 5. So high chord, bass, and then hold the chord that 3rd time. Now the second half is going to start the same. And then it's going to go to those 6s, but this time it's going to go. So that was the 2 sets with that 6 and 8 to the 5. So Then we do the two little sixes, 6 to 6, 4, back to sixes, and then we're gonna go 9 and 8. So we did 9 and 8 twice, then 8s, slide to sixes, hit the sixes again, and then we're gonna have, so that's 6, 5, 6, 5 on the G string. So let's go over the intro again. You can play along if you like, go kind of slow. 3 and 4 and. Okay, then second time through. You gotta get these fingers real tall for this stuff. Okay, then we have this riff. Six, 5, 3, back to 5 and 6. And then we jump down here, 5, 6, 8, 6, 8, 9, 8, 9, 11. So that was. So we're gonna have a 9, 11, 9 hammer on pull off, 8, 9, 8, 6, 8, 6, 4, 6, 4, and then 2 to 1, and slide it all the way to the octave of that, up to the 13. So that was. Okay, then we start the verse, and that's just the same thing here. We're just gonna keep doing that same thing. It actually does that 4 times in a row. Then the 5th time, they bring in a new thing. It's. Okay, so it starts the same. But then we have a chord that's 6 and 3 in the bottom 2. Do that once, and then you tuck it into 5 and 3. So that's the one. Isn't that the way? Right? And then we're gonna do 2 with the 3 and 6. Everybody's got the dues in life to pay, and you got. We're gonna do this twice as long here. And then we're in the chorus. We got an F power chord, 8 and 10, starting on the 5th string. So we're gonna do 2 times of this. F, E flat, D flat, E flat, F, same thing. And then we're gonna go back to this. And then you got this cool fill. So that's 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then G string 1, D string 3, so it's 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3. And then we're into a verse, we're doing this kind of stuff. Four times of that, you're back into a chorus. Now this time we get this new riff. So we got 5 on the G string, and we hit 4 times on the 3rd fret of the D string, and then 5 to 5, and then 5 to 6, and then 5 to 3 on the same string, and then we got our 6 5s, 2 bars of this. Now we have an interlude. We're gonna go. Back into a chorus at that point. So this interlude, we're going to start with this little minor chord here. We got the 5, 6, and 4. We can do this easier shape on it this time. We're going to start on the G string. So we end up putting a pinky in there in the 6th. So we got pinky. End up hitting the pinky like 3 times with those other notes, and then the, so that's 8, 6, 5. Do that twice. Then hit the 8 again. Slide to the 13. Hit the 13 again. So it's, and then we have this 8 and 6 thing. Then we're going to jump to this 5 over here. And there's a couple of guitars going on there, so it could be like a, or it could be. And then we're going to have same beginning. And then just the first half, the 8s and 6. Chorus. Okay, so we got the first little solo kind of a lead there. So we got 10, 10, 8, 8 with little half bends. So it's like. So 10, 10, 8, 8, 10, 10. We got 10, 8, 10, 8. And then we're going to bend this 10. Hit the 8, 8 on the way back. 11, 8, 10, 8, slight pause, and then a 10, 8, 10 bend to the 8 on the second. End with a bend on that 11 on the second string. So you got. And then you got these chords. So that was 1st fret to 3rd to 4th to 6th. Have this one. So we're going to bend the 16 4 times, and then one more back to the 16, 13, 15, 13, 15, 13, 15, 14, 13, 16, 13. So that's straight down the minor pentatonic, F minor pentatonic with the flat 5th. So it's. We got these chords again. Now we have. Okay, so what we have there is 8, 6, 8. Dee da doo da doo da. Going down to that 6 down here. So that was doo dee da doo da. Slide into that 10, 10, 8, 8, 10. So it's. Then the next measure is. So it's. And then 9, 11. A bunch of bends on that. So. Kind of hold that one for a second. Have this longer thing into the 8, 10, 11, 13, and then you got C power chords, so like 8, 10, 10. So that's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for 2 bars. Then we're gonna have the chorus again, starting on the F. Couple times, and then we have that chorus riff that comes in. Just kind of hold that 5 at the end of the tune there. All right, so Dream On by Aerosmith. I'm gonna go through those lead fills a little bit one time. We had that solo in the beginning. All right, we had that one, then we had. That little fill there. Then we had the all that kind of stuff. And then we had the then we had and then the last one was so it's like A with an upstroke. Kind of got a pick scratch and then an up. And another up on that A. And then we got 3-0 on the A to the G note over here on the E. Back to the A and the G notes. You can end up doing that riff about 8 times. So for a verse, and so let's go ahead and play that together. We'll start with this, just to make it easy. 2, 3, and. Okay, and then it is a little bit faster than that on the record, of course. Now we get into this riff 1, this main big riff. We got. Okay, so we have 5 to 3 on the A, to 5 on the E, and then 0-2, 2-3-3, 3-4-4-5. So it's 0-2, 2-3-3, 3-4-4-5. And it's going to repeat that. So we got. So let's slow that on down. 3, 4. That's going to go 7 times. The 8th time has a slightly different ending, but after 4 times, the harmony comes in. So that's 2-0 on the G to 2 on the D. And then on the A, we go 2-4, 4-5-5, 5-1-1-2. So it's. Now on that one, the 4th one of those, which would be like they're both on the kind of like the 8th time through the whole big riff there, they have little different endings. So the ending of the first riff is. So it just does the pull off to the 5-0-2, and then slowly goes 3-4 open A. So I'm going to play one of the riffs and then do that last one. So 3-4. And that takes you right back into a verse. So let's look at the harmonies last time. So the harmony is normally. So then this harmony, the last one's going to go 5-1-2, and then we're into a chorus. So once again on that we got 2-4-5-1-2. That'd be the last one of that harmony. Then we have this chorus here starting on A power chord. We got. So it's A power chord, and then we're going to pull the 5 to open on the D to the A string open. And then we got the 2 2s on the middle strings, part of the A chord. So we got. And then we're going to go. So that's 5-0 pull off, and then 0-3 with a slight bend. So it's. So slow that down. 3, 4. Okay, we'll pick it up for the last 4 here. 2, 3, and. Next verse. So, you know, you do 8 more of those, then you get in the riff. So that one, the harmony starts right with it, and we'd only do like the 4 times through, with that last one being a little different. So we'd have that harmony again. Those last 3 are slower, right? Then we're back into another verse. So 8 of those, then we have the riff again. It's gonna be the longer one, so 8 times, harmony coming in like halfway through. So we'll try that one more time. 3, 4. Now on this last one, for both of these riffs, you kind of just do the first 3 notes quick, and then the next 2 quick ones. You hold that note, kind of bend it around a little bit, give it some vibrato. So the last one was. Okay, then we're into the solo rhythm towards the end of the song. We got. So it's 2 E power chords, open and 2 on the top here, and then 5 on the A to the big open to 2 7s here. First one staccato, and then we have a open open. So that's 2 A's and a 3 4 on the E string, and a repeat. So we got. I'm just going to show you a little bits of the beginning and the end of the Joe Perry solo. So the first bit, after that rhythm gets going. So this is the 14 and 15 down here in the bottom. So you slide up 1 fret to the 15, 16. You do that 4 times. And then this last time you go. Da 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 down. Okay, and then the part of the solo I'm going to show you is the kind of not so fast and tricky, the kind of more slow and memorable part at the end there. Okay, so we're going to bend this 15 on the 2nd string. Take it down to the 12. As soon as you hit that 12, you're going to go 2 14s, and the second 14 you bend up a half step. So it's. And at the very end of that measure, the last note would be that 12 right there. That's going to be 14 on the G, 12 on the B, 12 on the G, to the 11 there, to the 14 on the D. Hammer on pull off, 12, 14, 12. So. Second part. Starts exactly the same, even with that, but it's going to go. So that's 14 on the G to 12 on the little E. 12 in the G, 14, 12 in the D, so. And then we have the little 15 up and down. Now the next part. Same beginning. So this one is 14, 12, 12. Two quick ones there, 12, 15. So, and then we bend this 14 on the G. And then we end with 12, pull off, 14, 12, 14 on the D. So this third part of the solo. Fourth part is going to end with so 12 or 14 on the G, little 12, 12 on the G, 14, 12 on the D. A couple more notes on that 12 there. So the whole solo once again is, I should say the end of the solo is. Okay, so that's the beginning parts of Toys in the Attic by Aerosmith. We're going to have this. That's our main riff. I'm calling that riff A. So we got the E, 2 to open on the D string, pull off, 2 on the A, back to the open D. So it's, you got that D, then back to this 2 on the 5th string, 3 to open, pull off. So it's. So 3 times of that, and you're gonna have a. This is like an A bass to a D power chord. So I got that A bass, and then I'm going down to the open 2 and 3. Kind of an upstroke because they're so fast. Here you can do the A bass again and hit the A power chord that time. So it's. You could just kind of hit like a scratch too, like. Or you could have that lead in note. Okay, then we do the whole riff again. So we do that riff 3 times in a row after that first one. So it's like 4 of them. So that would be 1 time through. Now on the 4th time through, we're going to go. So we're going to kind of go to the E bass, or maybe the A bass again, either one. But you're basically going to hit this B chord instead of the other chord you were doing, the A. So it's going to go. And that B now takes you to an A. A to E, D power chord, then D to A to G, and then D to A to B. And that'll start a new little riff there. So once again from the beginning, we got 2, 3, 4. So that's A, and then A, E, D, D, A, G, D, A, B. So once we hit this B power chord, 2, 4, 5, and then 4 to 2 on the G string, so, and then we go. So we got the power chord, dum, dum, and then open the A there. We got 4 of these chords with the open and the 4 there. So we got. So. and you just do that twice. And we're finished that, we got the, we're gonna go to an E power chord. We got this new thing. Okay, so really cool. So we got, and they got 2 guitars, so this is kind of set up for 1 guitar to try to get the harmonies going. So we got 10 to 9 on the B string pull off. And then we're gonna go 11 to 9 on the G, but we're also gonna go 10 to 9 on that B again. So we get into a chord after that first pull off. 11 and 10 to 9 and 9. So that's gonna go 7 on the G to 9 on the D. Part of an A chord here, 7 on the D, 6 on the G. So, and you kind of go from around the 12, slide it down to the A, same thing on the E, and that holds out as that chord did the first time. So we got, hold that, and then now this last one, the 4th one, kind of go to the A bass on that one too, because that starts up the. And we're back to the beginning riff. Okay, so we had that B leading off again, and it was 4 times again of that main riff. So we got A, G, D. Okay, we're gonna have this riff again. Okay, solo section starts. We're in a C power chord here. So we had that. That would be the 2nd time of that one. Then we're gonna get into a C chord here. We got. So you got like 8 bars of like really fast, like 16th notes going on there. So you get into a thing after like those 8 bars or 16 bars, whatever it is. We got. That's back to that B flat, 1 and 3 there. And it'd be like 8 of those or so, and then on that 8th one, you're gonna have this thing. So that was D to E, and that's that held out E chord that gets you into back into that part. And the 4th one. Okay, then we're back into the main riff. And we just repeat and fade that. So let's go back to that riff and let's slow it down a lot. We got. Let's try it about that fast. 3 and 4 and. Okay, one more time. 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that's Last Child by Aerosmith. So our first thing, we got this cool intro. We're gonna have 7, 7, 6 open going down the strings. So I've got my ring finger on that D string, pinky underneath, middle finger after that. So once we get to that highest string, we let that ring slightly, and then we come back down to 6, 7, 7. So it's. So we do that exact same thing twice, and we're going to come to the 5, 7, 8 open. Do that one twice, then we're going to slide this ring finger into the 9 on the D. And that's a 9, 7, 9 open. Now the second time we're going to go up the notes, and then we're going to hit the 3-finger chord here. We're going to go up 1 fret at a time. So it's 9, 7, 9, 10, 8, 10, 11, 9, 11. So this last part is. Okay, so the whole intro again, here we go. So this riff is like a 2, 2, 4, 5, 4, 2, 4, open 2 in the D. So, and you kind of have an E bass on that first one. So 2, 2, 4, 5, 4, 2, 4, oh 2. And be sure to download the free tabs on this. It'll make it all a lot easier. So here we go. 3 and 4 and. Now there's some little variations you can get into, like. So the easiest one's probably to like go from the 4 to the A bass, and then the O2. Sometimes I'll hit it open into the 2 there, just to kind of mix it up and stuff. You might also think about kind of leaving off the first beat, like. Okay, so a variety of ways you can kind of do that. That's the basic one, is just the. Okay, we end up doing that like 12 times in a row. You get your verse going and everything. And we have the second part. So we have the A bass with each one, but it's like 5, 7, 4, 5, 2, 4, 2, 2, 4, 5, 7. Last one's just 2, 2, 4, but you'll do the A bass with that, so it's like. And then we're back to. Now we have the next part. We have. You don't have to hit the D, but there's a D chord in here. It's like. So after the D, we had second string, 7, 8, 7, 9, 7, 9, 7 on the G there. So it's. And you could also kind of bend it. Now we're going to go to the A bass. Same type of thing. 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, and then 4 in the G, 5 in the D. So back to that riff. Okay, so the first one was. That's if you want to bend it, and if you don't want to bend it. Here's the A if you want to bend it. You can do a little half step bend on that 6 on the G. 4, 2, and then 4, 5. And those are like on upbeats. Okay, so this new part again is. Okay, so we do that like 10 more times, and then we have the B riff again, 3 and 4 and. Riff C again, that's that little bendy thing. Okay, so 2 more of those riffs. Now we're into the solo. So the solo rhythm is going to go. That's our main riff of the solo, behind the solo. So open, and then 5, 4, 2 on the A, straight to 3 open on the E. So it's like 1 E and a 2 E and then we go 3 and 4 E. So that's 7 on the A, so they're both E's. 7 on the A, big E. So we got 5, 7. Okay, so it's 1 E and a 2 E and 3 and 4 E. So 3 and 4 and. 6 times. Okay, then we get into that. But it's got a harmony thing there in the solo. So the 2 parts of the harmony thing, let's look at that first before we look at the solo. So it's going to go. Okay, so we got 10 and 9 to 10 on the second. 3 times we hold that 10. Let me do it 2 more times. We got like a bend on the 12 and kind of a big bend on the 14. So it's 3 and 4 and. Okay, and then the harmony of that is kind of just bend that 14. So 14, 12 to 14. 3 and 4 and. Okay, and the other one was 3 and 4 and. Down on the 1, 3 and 4 and 1. It's like 1, 2, 3 E. So we hit the up on that E of the 3. So it's 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 E. 1, 2, and a 3 E. 1, 2, and a 3 E. 1, 2, and a 3 E. Okay, so just a really cool rhythm part in the background going along with. So we got Brad Whitford on this solo this time. We got kind of a palm mute, and we got 12 and 13 going into the 14 on the G there. So do it again. So we got little 12, bend the 15 on the second 2 times, and then little 12, pull off here, bend the 14, go little 12 to 12. So. And then middle 14s, middle 12s. So the 14 twice on the D. So the whole solo so far is. We're going to slide into the ring finger into the 11 on the D and do 3 9s on the G there. So it's like. 9 again, and then 12 to 9 on the G, pull off, 11 on the D again, and then 9, 9, 11, going down. Then we're going to slide into the 16 with the middle finger on the G string, hit these little 15s, bend the 17, bring it down, and then we go 15, 15, and then 17, and then up, and then down, and then 15, 15, 17. two 17s, two 15s. You get 16, 14, 13 to 14 on the D. So from the and that's when we get into the harmony thing. So you'd be like, and then we got, as the solo continues, we got to pull off 15, 14 on the second, 12, a little bend on that 12 on the G, a couple 14s on the D, and we got 12, 14, 12, 14, 15. So it's 12, 14, 15 again, and then we got to pull off 14, 12 to 12 on the G, 12 to 12 again, so pull off, couple bends on that 15. At the end of it, you got little 12s there. So the whole solo, we got 3 and 4 and. That kind of thing. Now we got some fills that are gonna go. So bend the 15 on the second and then 15, 12 to 12. Now this one's gonna come in on the second 16th note. So it's like 1 E and, E and, E and. So that's 12s on the G and B, 1. 14 on the D. Getting towards the end here, we're gonna have a 15 bend on the second. And then little 12, pull off on the second. 12 here. Bend up and down on the little 15. And then we're going to have, again on the second 16th note, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. That's 12 on the G, 15, it's octave on the E. So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. Then there's one little note, kind of a 7 on the G, kind of goes up. We're going to bend this 2 on the G. We got the 3s underneath it.